morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wealthy Retailer Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Holman. We're recording here for the week of August 27th. Ton of great headlines. We're going to throw it over to our man, Rob Athleisure from Road 55. He's going to feed us some great information this week.
Yeah. Good morning, Dan. How you doing today?
Well, living on the top side of the dirt, man. That's where you want to be.
I've been ready to go since about 3 a.m. when a thunderstorm rolled through town and shook us all out of bed. So
it was loud this morning.
Yeah, no, going to be a good day. Yeah, lots of good headlines today. One talks about some grant training money that's available, and so what you might be able to do to up your game with that. What you need to do to be seen as a local treasure, and I love that term, a local treasure in the world of retail. The stats are out. We're kind of back to even. So now what? What does that mean? And story about a new opportunity. Is it a little bit of replacing lost in revenue, or is it just a new opportunity altogether? And athleisure, we're hearing all kinds of stuff about this as, suits are going out the window and yoga pants are it's all about comfort and working out at home. So lots of good stuff. And we'll lead off with our first story. It comes from Barrie Today, barrietoday.com. So it's a story about a local retailer and the program that Barrie's launched in conjunction with, I believe, the provincial government, where they're working with, it's a digital Main Street, and it's a program supported by the province, by the feds. This lady was able to get access to a $2,500 grant that helped her get some additional training just to really expand her presence beyond her local borders of Barrie. And so while it's in Ontario, I know this holds true throughout the country. Dan, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, we first heard about the partnership with Digital Main Street with our good friends over at Retail Insider. They've got their finger on the pulse, and Digital Main Street absolutely created an opportunity to work together with retailers to get them online. And this story really spoke about the need to increase your digital prowess to remain relevant and in front of your customer. And while this great little store, started to do this in February or January or February, it really became apparent that this was required. And so throw this story aside. I mean, this is retail 101. Get in front of your customer. If your traffic is slowed, as we saw, going into the first month or so of COVID, as we came to the store closures and then coming out of it as traffic has slowed, we've needed to increase our digital presence. This is not something new. Every retail expert has been talking about increase your digital prowess, increase your digital space. This is still, yes, there's a need to be able to do business online. And, I had to yank my foot out of my mouth here not very long ago. I've long been the advocate to strengthen your brick and mortar presence, to strengthen the customer experience. And then the minute we had to close our doors, I quickly shifted to, oh my gosh, you got to be online.
Yeah,
that's what we needed to do. And this partnership with Digital Main Street allows the independent retailer to access some dollars that, they're really clamoring for right now. We're going to talk about, where retail sales have returned. It's a day late and a dollar short. We are still so deep out of pocket that we need to continue pushing our digital presence. And as our platforms are updated over and over and over again, Facebook, taking control over what you're allowed to put out, what audience you can access through, the Facebook or Instagram platforms, we need to continue elevating, our digital game.
So on it, Dan, on the training side for a moment,
mm-hmm.
We all get caught, especially small independent retailers. We're up to our neck. We're knee deep in everything. We're constantly working in our business. Let's talk about working on the business and training. And what do you recommend? You coach a lot of different retailers.
Sure.
You really got to keep it in the forefront. What should they be doing each week, each month to just keep that ongoing training in front of them?
You have to continue buying education. Education, while there is some great free resource out there, you've got to partner with someone that that is spending their life in this space, that completely understands Instagram Reels right now. This is going to be the latest. And every quarter, we seem to have a new iteration of a platform that we need to learn. And yeah, Rob, well said. We're wearing 20 different hats in our retail space today, more perhaps than we were wearing 6 or 8 months ago. And being consumed by digital is not our passion. It being consumed by keeping up with the latest and greatest, that's not where our passion lies. And I'm going to say to you, look for a resource that you can rely on to help you through this. You need a partner in your business that can continue to elevate your digital game. Yep. And there are a lot of great resources out there.
Right on. Okay, and that's working towards, you want your store to be known as a little treasure. And I love this next one. It's from retailwire.com. And it gives some great stats about, people obviously doing a lot more shopping close to home. They talk one stat here that 56% said the pandemic has caused them to shop in neighborhood stores. But the nice part is almost 80% of them plan to continue doing so long term. So they're in it for the long haul. When it comes to a retailer becoming a local treasure, what kind of things can they do to really earn that title?
The list is endless. We recognize our local independent retailer as a treasure for their investment in their community. They're not absentee in the community, and we have to strengthen that bond between the retailer and their community. We have to heighten the awareness. This survey talked about 69% of respondents, plan to socialize, within their community, either in their home or a friend's home virtually. 50% of our population, has never worked from home, and now are planning to work from home more and more and more. And if your community is, similar to St. Albert, Alberta, you're a bedroom community to a larger city, maybe we're going to see an increased awareness in that local retailer. And part of what's required is for you to continue getting your message out there. Let's piggyback off of the last article. I have to be relevant. I have to be top of mind. I have to scream from the mountaintop, hey, I'm here. We can't expect people to find us. You used the words hidden treasure. We can't be a hidden treasure. We have to be upfront. We have to be out there. We need to continue spreading our good word. And that's done through, yes, our prowess, our digital prowess, but also the connections that we make, the social connections. I mean, social as in, community-minded endeavors. Whether you're a member of your chamber of commerce, your economic development team, your business, your breakfast business meetings, your BNI club, your Rotary club, your hospital foundations, any service clubs, you start to raise your awareness. And this really, every retailer is going to say, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I promise you, if you don't do this, you're dying on the vine. You've got to continue to invest in your community so that you're not a hidden treasure. People will support their local retailer more today than ever. I mean, this study, I think it was 8,000 respondents, said, of the 8,000 respondents, they said 56% of them, maybe have felt forced or obligated to shop in their local neighborhood store, right? More than half of them felt obligated. That's of the respondents. Go through any community. The more invested you are in your community, the more obligated your community is to support you. We've got to be in front of our audience.
Sure thinking of it. And just like from the last story, we talk about making that ongoing investment in training. We talk about that ongoing investment in community and
right.
I'm an old hockey player. I got hit in the head a couple times with some pucks. I like keeping things simple where, give 3 times, ask once. So, think of it in your sales activities, your social activities. And we see this lots with social media. it's ask, 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 sale, sale,
Right.
sale, buy, 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 and trying to think more from the what can I give to my community? What can I can I arrange a block party? Can I go to these community events and watch it come back, knowing that the stats are supporting that. There's that I'll call it that initial obligation, but I don't know if that obligation is going to be forever and a day. So don't assume you're going to keep that, but you've got this just amazing opportunity to hang on to it.
Right. You have to continue making deposits in your community bank. In your community awareness bank, you continue to make deposits until the bucket overfloweth, and then you make a withdrawal. And I'm going to tell you, the biggest mistake that retailers make is they talk product versus customer. Give to your customer. The rule of reciprocity, give before you get. And retailers today that are making this mistake of getting out there online and only talking about price or sale or discount are losing the battle. We've got 3 pillars to choose from: price, quality, and service. And the retailer that chooses price over quality and service competes with the big A every day and loses that fight. We cannot compete on price. That's not our marketplace. Our local retailer must compete on quality of product and quality of service. And that's it. End of story. And every single action that you take as a retailer to promote yourself should be customer driven, not product or price driven. How does this help your customer? Do they want to see new? Yes, they do. Talk about new, but more importantly than what's new, talk about the why. Retailers curate product. They swim through a plethora of shit at these trade shows, digital or physical. They swim through piles and piles and piles of crap to curate the best product. I shouldn't say crap. There's lots of great product out there. Is to curate product that fits their customer, not their customer's pocketbook, not price point, the best product. Talk about why we chose that product. Make a connection with, the product, the solution to the problem or the challenge that your customer has.
Right on. Well said. Well said. Well, in the effort to get towards becoming that local treasure, be sure to head and reach out to our friends at Canadian Retail Solutions. Remember, they're here to help you with all the retail solutions to make your store more successful. From the latest point of sale software to e-commerce solutions, Retail Pro, the new global retail POS, Shopify, and more. Let them help you find your cutting-edge retail solution today. Visit retailbycrs.com for more information. Okay, if you want numbers, we got them. The recent stats are out. Without a doubt, we're seeing that increase. We're rebounding, but they talk about it getting to the first level. I believe it was the pre-COVID, where it was matching more February numbers. As you said, Dan, we can sit and pat ourselves on the back, but it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot other than let's take any good we can take right now and build upon that. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, love good news. Love good news. I mean, again, Rob, the challenge with some of the stats that RCC puts out is it takes so long to gather data that we are at the end of August telling people about the June performance. Day late, dollar short.
Yeah.
Yes, I love a good story. Yeah, I want to hear that we're up. I don't care that June is on par with February. Is June on par with where it needs to be?
Right.
Yes, hey, we're up 3% or whatever the number was. Hey, we returned to pre-COVID numbers. Yeah, well, let's start to break that down for the retailer, and let's not allow complacency to enter their life. Let's not tell them that this is over, that, hey, your sales are back to normal, because here's a shocking number for you. Retail in August is down about 30%. We're not using current data to inspire confidence. We're looking backwards 60 days now and saying, hey, 2 months ago, things were great. That's not the world we live in. Stop comparing ourselves to last month, last year, last quarter, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. Figure out what the plan needs to be in your store and drive to hit that number. And if retail starts to soften, which it absolutely has done in August, we need to double down on our effort to bring that number back up.
Yeah.
This good word, I love good stories. I love cheerleading, but I want to do it with some level of realism. Any thought that we're back to a normal pre-COVID state will deliver a message of it's okay. Take your foot off the gas. This is not the time to take your foot off the gas. We're moving into a very, very risky season right now. We're recognizing, if sales are soft, there's a return to school, there's other activities going on all of a sudden that we haven't dealt with, in the last 60 days that we're going to deal with in the next 30 days.
Yeah.
We've got to stay focused. We've got to keep our foot on the gas.
And you talk about like schools coming back in, and I think I've got kids going back, and I think even from a positivity and a momentum, knowing that your staff are going to be going through some things, you, the owners, are going to be going through things, your customers are going to be going through things, and I think these next few weeks are going to be really critical for, I'm going to say, our community, where we got to be helping each other out, because there's going to be a lot of that uncertainty over the next couple of weeks.
I mean, we have financial challenge, we have emotional challenge, we have physical challenge. This is all in front of us, and yeah, again, while I want to hear that numbers are up, I want to work at continuing to push numbers forward. The minute we take our foot off the gas, we take 3 steps back.
Yeah.
And we've got to continue inching forward. And there's so much outside influence hammering away at us. We've got to stay focused.
For a long time, my company name Road 55, and just for, shits and giggles, it's kind of a fun thing. I take the 5x5 as my own little formula. I truly believe it is the only thing I can control. And when we talked earlier about training and community investment, I do 5 things, 5 days a week, in an attempt to grow my business. And that's community stuff. That's a post. I can control that. I can't necessarily control what comes out the other end, but with kind of good faith and know that if I do these things, more than likely good things will happen at the other side.
Right. And I'm going to tell you this, every retailer today, and if every single retailer listening to this podcast needs to take this away from them, right? Take this away from today's podcast. You call 5 customers 5 days a week, you're not going to have a traffic problem.
Yeah.
Retailers have forgotten the power of outreach. Pick up the damn phone and call your customer. Oh, I don't have their phone number. Boy, oh boy, what a mistake that is. Oh, I've spent all these years collecting email addresses. Great. When was the last time you sent a how are you email?
Yeah.
When was the last time you did a check-in? You want to drive traffic to your store? You want to become that treasured store? Start reaching out to your clients and do it exactly like that. 5 days a week, 5 customers a day.
And it doesn't have to be that 1,000-person email blast. Like go see the power of sending 5 individual customer emails. Hey, Susie, just thought I'd say hello and all the best back to school with the kids.
Right.
And we'll see you soon. I bet you're going to see Susie in the next couple of weeks walk through your store.
Absolutely. And if you start that process today, it will pay you back days and days and days down the road. We the lost art of the thank you note. You go to the mailbox. I go to the mailbox once a week or once every 2 weeks. I suck at it. I got Marlene's birthday was a few weeks ago, and I went to the mailbox yesterday and got her. There was a birthday card in there. It
was from you too. Yeah,
it's from me. I sent her a card. I want it.
Wonderful.
But inside that inside that mailbox was a thank you card from a local retailer that said, "Hey, Marlene, thank you for stopping in," and it was from the team at the store. Awesome. And it just means so much. Now that's, a purchase from 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, perhaps, and she got that note. And what did that do? That put that retailer back at the top of her awareness scale. Yeah. All of a sudden, they became relevant again.
Yeah.
A month later.
In baseball, they just say hit them where they ain't, and you know, how many hand addressed written letters do you receive to your home? And there's not much competition in that space, so
Right.
it's a great little opportunity to stand out with
Right.
customers.
Yeah.
Our next story comes to us from styledemocracy.com. I tell you, Dan, nothing says the men's fashion like the word Ardeen.
Ardeen.
But, you know, I thought it was pretty cool that they're launching Ardeen Man end of this month. And definitely they've been known as a value fashion staple for young women, but they felt there was a space in the market when it came to menswear. What were your thoughts on this?
I can't wait to see all the 17-year-old guys running over to the mall to hit Ardeen up to get their,
yeah, no doubt,
tchotchke. Listen,
at least they'll have something to do when their girlfriend's over at Ardeen.
This is absolutely an example of someone taking advantage of opportunity. This is a space that's underserved. This is a space that's underserviced. Is it going to last? Is it going to work? Don't know. Can't see the future.
Right.
Can't look into the crystal ball. But I can tell you that this is the kind of practice that every retailer needs to take. You said a few minutes ago, hit them where they ain't. I've said the greatest strategy in retail is gap analysis. Figure out what someone's not servicing and service that right now. Adapt to the need in the marketplace. Just because you're a dress shop doesn't mean you can't sell men's accessories or denim or whatever it is. This is about adaptation. This is about filling a void that they've recognized in the market. And again, will it be successful? Can't tell you, don't know, can't see the future. But I can tell you, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. When it comes to the gap, just curious, do you view that kind of in a geographic radius? Is it look 2 miles in the area of your store, and that's the best place to start with your gap analysis? What do you think there?
I'm going to say that if you run, in Canada, you run a postal code report on your customer base and figure out exactly where your target, geographical market is, and you look at the gap analysis that exists in that geographical market. If I'm here in St. Albert, I'm probably looking at, in the T8N postal code, what's not here, what's not being serviced, and how do I now get that message out that I can be that person? Look at the verticals that have been created. There's more masks sold in St. Albert than all of Edmonton, every store in Edmonton put together, because one person recognized a need for it. One person recognized that, hey, this is going to be a classification in my store, and I'm going to plan it, and I'm going to buy into it, and I'm going to promote it, and I'm going to talk about it. It's gap analysis, and it's first to market, not best in market. You got to get there fast. You don't perfect something and then go to market. You get to market right now, and you prove your case, and you improve it, and you study it. And when you make a mistake, you write it down and you move on. You get past it. And so this story, well, I didn't mean to crap all over these guys at Ardeen, but here's the deal. They've recognized that there's a void, and they're going to fill it. And they're going to fill it on a large scale, and good on them. And every single retailer needs to recognize where their gap is. What can they do today that they're not doing that may enhance their business? Not permanent. It could be temporary, but it's something to cross that bridge between today and tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you find many retailers get caught in that, I'll say that analysis paralysis, where they're just spending too much time trying to make it perfect before they go? Or what do you see out there?
100%. Most retailers, entrepreneurs some entrepreneurs are notorious for how slow they move, right? And we have to get to market fast. We've got to be there ahead of everyone. Early adopters, you have 3 segments of customers, and the greatest segment you have is the early adopter. You want to listen to a great a video or TED Talk, go look up Simon Sinek and listen to, his early adoption story. The people that spent thousands and thousands of dollars on big screen TVs that in the beginning were pieces of shit, distorted, right? But look at where that market has gone. I might have been one of those guys that spent thousands of dollars on a great big flat screen TV that, isn't
My
worth its
memory
weight
of the
today.
first flat screen I ever saw is still, I think it was a 30-inch, and it was about $18,000.
But I mean, that was the early adopters that
Yeah.
drove that market. And you've got to look to your early adoption customers. And your loyal following are early adopters. Your loyal following believe in you. They trust you. And if you come out and say, hey, this is the greatest new yoga brand, they're gonna try it because they
Yep.
trust you.
Yep. Right on. Speaking of trust, Dan's got this great 12 steps to retail success, and I was going to share one of the steps from us. If you do want to see the full video, you can head to thewealthyretailer.com or retailbycrs, be sure .com, and check that out. Dan, what's the step this week you want to take us through?
Great question. No, I'm just kidding. Today, we're going to talk about inventory. And the critical need, we call this step kill the virus and prevent disease. And, funny enough, here we are trying to kill a virus and prevent some long-term disease. And your inventory is in fact perishable. And how we kill that disease inside your inventory is by taking markdowns. Markdowns are an essential ingredient to maintaining fresh inventory. When we're in April and May, we're saying, hey, slow up on the markdowns. We don't know what's going to happen with product. There's so many unknowns. You don't have to discount and clear out all your product. Well, here we are now in August, and if you're still sitting on something that is January, February receiving, it's got to be marked down and turned back into cash. And markdowns are the bribery that we use to clear out, excess inventory. And you've got to look at what opportunities do I have in my store today to take a markdown and move goods out. I am by no means saying scream from the mountaintop, sale, 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 sale. I'm talking about going through your inventory, grading it A, B, C, A, will sell at full price, B, needs a little bit of a markdown, and C, what was I thinking? Mark it down and get it out of your store. And that doesn't mean get on Facebook and scream you've got markdowns. You can certainly gently talk about it in your promotion, but this is in-store activity. 50% of your customers will walk in your door and head straight to a markdown rack. It is the opportunity buy. And understanding, that the markdown process, the cadence, the requirement to blend down inventory values using markdowns is critical in your business today. You have to understand first why you have a need to take a markdown. It's probably because we waited too long to sell off goods. It's likely end of season. Understand why you've got the markdown and take preventative measures ahead of time. Here we are today. We talked about this last week and the week before and the week before and the week before. We probably have some excess inventory. And even if your overall inventory value is balanced, you probably have aged goods in your store. This bag and tag and sell it later strategy doesn't work. Mark it down and get it gone.
Get it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, when you decide on a markdown, do not use a discount structure. Do not say 20% off, 30% off. Customers do not respond that way. Customers come home. I can tell you this, in my household, we talk about how much we spent on something. I got this great jacket for $60.
Yeah.
No one said I got it for 73% off or 37% off. It's what you paid. And every single customer has their own price quality value equation. Talk about price. Get your red pen out. If you think you're going to get $20 for it, write $20 on it, not 70 off. We can talk about promotion, in our store-wide markdowns, 50% off throughout the store. That's ad speak. The customer wants to see dollars. That's how they equate value, by how much they're spending, not how much they're saving.
I've learned from my wife forever and a day. I just have to say it was 50% off, or it was the last one left, and that's the only thing I need to justify why I purchased this.
And listen, half off is absolutely a great strategy. And that's the other thing about markdowns I should have said. Make your first markdown your best one. Your first markdown is your cheapest one. And I don't mean 10 off should be, it should be go to what's going to sell. If you would say to yourself, hey, if somebody gave me $10 for this shirt, I'd take it, then write $10 on it. Do not start inching your way down. The old slash and stroke method doesn't exist. It doesn't work.
I got a great invention, augmented reality that will convert all of your old inventory into the image of stacks of cash sitting there. And maybe that would change the tune of, I got money sitting there in the back.
I've said to people for a long time, stop looking at that shirt. It doesn't matter. It's a $20 bill hanging in your store. How many $20 bills do you want hanging around? 100%. Job is go pluck them off, convert inventory back to cash. This is how we make retail go around, convert inventory back to cash as quickly as I possibly can so I can continue reinvesting in that inventory. Cash in your store comes from your ability to turn inventory, plain and simple. Get it out the door.
Right on. Thanks for sharing that, Dan. Okay, our last story here. Website similarweb.com talks about the 10 fastest growing activewear brands out there. They share a few of them and asking for a little more info to get the balance. But this gives us the flavor. We've been talking about the growth of athleisure, and you see a few of these companies or just the category in general. What continues in that trend, Dan?
I think that you're going to continue seeing loungewear, athleisure, leisure wear, that category expand and expand and expand. If you'll remember back a couple of years ago when leggings really started to rear their, in some cases, ugly head, when leggings really started to take over, it started to kill the denim market. And then denim came back with a vengeance. And premium denim came back with a vengeance. And today we're going to ride this athleisure roller coaster. We're going to ride the loungewear roller coaster. We heard in a study of 8,000 people, not very long ago, that 56% of them are working from home and will maybe continue to work from home for some level. Well, if I stood up, you'd see I got a great shirt on and a pair of nutsack shorts. I'm wearing a pair of shorts. I'm sitting in my office wearing my pair of shorts. I didn't put pants on. I don't always, rarely put pants on.
Truly wish you hadn't shared that with me. Dan.
Hey, you can get your nutsack shorts at wigandberries.com. But listen, that's this wave that we're on, this roller coaster that we're on right now is absolutely in that loungewear athleisure world. It is not, we talked in this article about activewear brands. The number one activewear brand is a yoga brand.
Yeah.
How many people do you see today, walking around wearing yoga pants that aren't doing yoga, that aren't in the practice of yoga? They're comfortable, right? Or they're walking. And this category for probably the next 6 months, is on, the up on the roller coaster. Early adoption, generating business. You've got to be converting, categories in your store to fit that more casual, maybe homebound lifestyle, loungewear, comfortable, until we're going to see dresswear return with a vengeance, the same way denim did. The minute we start to see that shift, and it's going to do that, and it's going to roll like this. Everything does, and we've got to ride it to the top.
The pie is always, it's $100, and like you said, it shifts from denim to yoga and back, or does that pie actually get bigger sometimes? What are your thoughts there?
The pie is the pie. We're not seeing more dollars spent in apparel today than we have before. In fact, we might be seeing less, but it's not that the pie is getting smaller. It's the number of people that are in the pie that gets smaller. Retail moves. If we had 10 stores closed today, there's probably 10 more opening. We don't have more or less overall retail opportunities. The same thing in our categorical, outlook on retail. We don't have more categories. Yes, we've created some subsets. We've created the mask. We've created loungewear that maybe didn't exist at the same way, or activewear that didn't exist in the same way. It's a breakout of a category. It's a subset. And that $100 that's being spent in retail today, maybe I was spending 80% of that on denim, and now I'm spending 80% on athleisure, and that market will continue to shift and flop and flip. And the same thing happens, seasonally. We have big dress seasons, and then we have small season, and we move from selling dresses, to selling denim and sweaters, and then back to dresses and skirts and shorts. And that's the seasonal rotation or the cadence that happens in retail.
Yep. But as you said, you figure like at least a solid 6 more months of just making sure you've got that in your mix where this big shift has happened. And don't be scratching your head 6 months from now with what happened. We're right. Telling you what's coming down the pipeline. I
mean, if you're not converting some of your categories to casual or athleisure or loungewear today, you're giving up dollars. That's what people are buying. I mean, those are probably some of the strongest categories in retail right now in the apparel world. And, when you look at the stores that are having record years, it's active stores.
Yeah.
Hook and bullet, bike stores, outdoor, ski, skate, snow. Those stores are going to continue to flourish, and they deserve to. And the market that they're serving is that active market. It's not dress wear. It's not better women's and better men's. It's not workwear. It's loungewear. And we've got to be in that game.
Well, folks, a lot of great stories we talked about today. We are going to have the links to all of them in our newsletter this week, retailbycrs.com. If you hadn't had a chance yet, please do sign up. And you know what? I bet there's someone out there that in the world of retail. Recommend this podcast to them, please, or to head and sign up to the newsletter. Trust me when I say there's a good nugget or two that they'll gain for their business themselves each week. In addition to the stories we talked about today, we've also got additional links for stories. There's a news of a big merger in the cannabis industry, so I'm sure we're going to see as the chairs move around the table of what ownership looks like in that world. A new website is launched for careers in luxury retail. That's really interesting. And while fashion brands proliferate, few have the expertise or the connections to tap into optimal supply chain. So a really interesting story about that. And a story about consumer psychology. It is the only constant. So lots of good stuff there. And Dan, thank you.
Great job today. Great job. As Rob said, head over to thewealthyretailer.com search out thewealthyretailer.com on your favorite podcast platform. Give us a subscribe, share it out. Let's see if we can fight this fight together.
Right on. Well, folks, thanks for joining us on the Wealthy Retailer podcast, brought to you by Canadian Retail Solutions. At their core, they believe in having real and relevant relationships, offering solution-based sales and services, maintaining a client-centered bottom-line focus, and providing credible and complete care. Remember, folks, they exist to make retailers better. Have a great day, and we will see you, hear you, listen with us on the next podcast.
Next week. Cheers.
Awesome.